science doesn't really know why you dream. We humans know more about solar systems light years away than we do about our nightly hallucinogenic bedtime stories. Sure, we know that you mostly dream during rapid eye movement or REM sleep, and we know that REM sleep has a lot to do with forming memories, but why dream in all of this? What is the connection between forming memories and hyper-realistic hallucinations of picnicking with Tom Hiddleston? There's not really any good answers. Science doesn't really know, but there are theories. And every theory usually falls under one of two umbrellas. One side claiming that dreams have a primary function, and the other side saying that dreams are an epiphenomenon, or for those who only know regular person words, collateral damage of other primary functions. Meaning it's pretty much just an Easter egg of the brain. The primary function people look at it like this. See, we can observe by hooking people up with wires that during REM sleep, you are most often experiencing negative emotion, particularly anxiety. So these scientists reason that dreams are then to prepare us for threats, so we will be able to act in the midst of anxiety in the real world, claiming that dreams are an evolutionary trait, that early humans that dreamed anxieties were more prepared to face actual events because they have felt the anxieties under maybe different circumstances in their dreams. So the scarier dreams you had, the more prepared you were. The epiphenomenon people look at it from a different standpoint. They have the idea that during REM sleep, the unconscious part of our brain is sorting memories, throwing out the useless information and really dialing in what's important. So the theory goes that the electrical impulses created whilst this is going on is detected by our conscious brain, and our cortex just kind of gets confused with all this noise and throws together a story to make sense of it, creating a dream. Also, because it's your cortex, it will usually incorporate things that you think about often, hence why sometimes you'll dream of being fed grapes by Tom Hiddleston. This category of thinking says that dreams don't serve any purpose, and instead they're just a random byproduct. The problem I have with that standpoint is that our bodies have seemingly gone great lengths to ensure we're able to dream. For example, during REM sleep, your brain inhibits motor neurons in the spinal cord, essentially vegetabilizing you while you sleep so you don't act out your dreams. It's like your brain is going out of its way to dream. There are also cases where dreams themselves have seemingly helped people process information, going contrary to the idea that they are purposeless. For example, in 1845, an inventor named Elias Howe had been obsessing over an idea of a machine with a needle that would go through the cloth for you. But he had no idea how it would work. One night, he had a strange dream where he was about to be cooked by cannibals. Unfortunately, they didn't have Tom Hiddleston back then. The cannibals were dancing around him with spears, about to throw him in a fire, but he noticed something strange about their spears. Each one had a small hole near the tip. When he woke up, he couldn't get the image of the strange spears up and down motion out of his mind. He then realized that was the key to making his machine work. Move the hole from the back of the needle, like how it's done by hand, to the point of the needle, like the spears. So it's thanks to a dream that he realized the technological possibility of this sewing machine. Carl Jung believed that dreams had a very significant meaning, and seems to have a middle ground of the two categories of thinking. He stated that dreams are messages sent up from the unconscious. In his words, the dream is a spontaneous self-betrayal and symbolic form of the actual situation in the unconscious. The dream is specifically the utterance of the unconscious. And that's quite interesting to me. A little too many big words for my taste, but interesting nonetheless. I think that way of thinking appeals to me because for most of my life, I've had lucid dreams. Allow me to give you an example of a lucid dream. One night, I had a dream where I was locked sitting in my room, but my room was empty, no furniture. I saw a wind-up toy lizard that began winding itself. Once it was done winding, it moved like a real-life lizard. Immediately after that, I thought to myself, yeah, this is a dream. So I got up, decided my door wasn't locked anymore, went to my driveway where a full dining room set from IKEA was set up, sat down and began having a philosophical discussion with Mr. Beast. Now, according to the epiphenomenon people, your conscious formulates dreams while your subconscious is hard at work. To me, this dismantles the epiphenomenon way of thinking and affirms Jung's beliefs, because when I ask my dream people troubling questions, I always get answers from a seemingly new perspective. I don't actively or consciously formulate a response to that question, so by definition, isn't that subconscious? But maybe we're just thinking about this wrong. The epiphenomenon people classify the subconscious as basically anything that's not your cortex, like your hippocampus and amygdala. But neither the hippocampus or amygdala could formulate a thought, like what I experience in a lucid dream. In fact, only one part of your brain can, the left hemisphere, or the right hemisphere, if you're a part of the outcast minority that is left-handers. Either way, your brain is split in half. If I were to ask you to solve 345 times 2 and explain your answer, that would almost entirely involve your left hemisphere. But if I were to ask you to imagine a sunset rowboat ride in the middle of the ocean, laying in the lap of Tom Hiddleston whilst watching the Minions movie, That's your right hemisphere. While we see activity in both sides of the brain during REM sleep, there's one specific part that lights up, the right temporal lobe, or more inclusively for you left-hand weirdos, the non-dominant temporal lobe. This part of the cortex is involved in learning and remembering nonverbal information like visuospatial material, music, and the cinematography of that one Tom Hiddleston movie. Okay, so you are processing information during REM sleep then. That seems clear, but my observations during lucid dreaming seems to contradict the idea that dreams themselves are just collateral. Maybe it has something to do with the corpus callosum, which connects the two hemispheres, but then Mr. Beast wouldn't be able to articulate himself. As you can see, it gets messy. Science kind of breaks, nothing makes sense, so let's turn away from science to a philosophical way of thinking to give us the illusion of an answer. Maybe dreams point out a path unknown to the waking conscious, giving much needed heedings of what's to come. In the form of Tom Hiddleston.